Hi everyone, it's Leona with Leona's Designs. Welcome to another Scripture Pockets 2026, where we create a different pocket every week and use a different scripture from a different book of the Bible every week. And this week we are going to be creating a double pocket that's going to be filled with hearts and tags and use the scripture verse from Leviticus 19, verse 18, which says, "Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord." And that's Leviticus 19, verse 18 in the New King James Bible, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to show you now the little pocket I created, and I think it's very beautiful and easy to make. And I created this one from a kit that I designed that I have on Etsy. I'll leave the link in the description box if you'd like to make one just like this. It's pretty easy to do, and I had fun creating it, and I'm going to show it to you now. I'm calling it Love One Another Pocket. And in the kit, I have designed two little hearts with scriptures on them. The one's, the one is our scripture for this week from Leviticus. And then I have this scripture on the heart. That's Jesus' words in Mark 12, 30-31 that validates this Leviticus scripture. So this scripture is from the Old Testament, this one's from the New Testament, and they're both saying, love your neighbor as yourself. Excuse me. So I have those two scriptures, and then I found three more in the New Testament that are basically saying the same thing. Galatians 5:14, love your neighbor as yourself. 1 John 3:11, love one another. And James 2:8, love your neighbor as yourself. So I think God is telling us we should love our neighbor as ourselves. He's saying it in the Old Testament and the New Testament. So I thought these scriptures will make a beautiful filling for this double pocket that we could add to our journals. We could hand out as an evangelistic tool if we wanted to just give it to people on the street or mail it in a greeting card or in Happy Mail or just however you think you might use it in your life to reach people with the gospel. I'm going to show you now how I created this. And if you want to get my kit, you can create it just like this. If you don't want to get my kit, if you just want to make it from scratch on your own, I'll give you some tips and how-tos on how you might want to do that also. And I'm going to show you the kit now that you can get on Etsy if you want to do it this way. So I'll take this out and I'll show you there's 3 pages. There's this page, which is the circle that you use to make the pocket. And this little strip here is what I use at the bottom to fold over to just kind of keep these two little side pockets together. So you have your circle, which creates this pocket, this double pocket. You have this little strip, and then you have this page with both hearts and 3 tags. And then I also have a background page that you can get in this kit. Look, on the back of this circle. This is the background page. So what I did is I printed this page with the circle and the strip. And then I flipped it over and I printed the background page on the back of it. So when I cut out this circle, it's going to have this image on the front and the back, just like this pocket does. Otherwise, if you just print one side of this circle, some of it's just going to show white. So I think it looks much better if it's double-sided paper that you use. Excuse me. So I'm going to cut these out now, and then I'll show you how I put mine together. Okay, I've cut everything out. I've inked it all on both sides. I've inked the circle and the strip and the little label and the hearts and the tags. So now we can get ready to assemble this. And we will be making this pocket with all these little fillers. If you do not want to use my kit, I would suggest that you get some double-sided paper and take a plate that's 8 inches. This circle is 8 inches. And originally I had used this plate. And I just put it down and traced around it on a piece of double-sided paper. And then I cut it out and I inked it, and I used that to fold into a pocket. And then if you don't want to get my kit, you could cut out a couple of hearts and write the scriptures on them. I'll put all the list of the scriptures in the description box if you just want to make your own hearts and tags using the scriptures. And then if you want to have this little label at the bottom, you would need to print out a little label. And just cut a scrap of paper. This little paper is 1.5 by 4 3/4. I just made it longer, but it doesn't really need to be this long. It just needs to fit on the bottom and fold over. So if you don't want to get my kit, you just want to create your own, that's what you could do. But we're going to be creating now the pocket. And what you would do is you would take your circle and whatever side that you want to be the front, you would fold it in on each side so that the sides meet in the middle. And try to get it as evenly as you can so that each side looks about even. And fold it into where they touch right here in the middle. And just fold those sides down. And kind of burnish them down. Then take the bottom part of this circle and fold it up about 3 inches. That's about 3 inches right there. And then burnish that down. After you've done that, you open the whole thing up, and right here on this bottom part, right here on the sides, you would cut from the outer edge right here to the end of this fold. You would cut right here, right to that fold on each side. This one's kind of hard to see. Fold that again so I can see it easier. There we go. Just cut that right in to the fold line. Now you fold these in. This makes your top pocket. And these wings, you fold the other way. You fold them out. Like that. And then you fold this up. So you've got these now making your second pocket. I noticed apparently I did not cut my circle exactly straight because these wings here should really be kind of matching this outside, but it doesn't matter. Because if I make them smaller, then they're not going to meet in the middle. And we want them to meet in the middle. So what we're going to do now is glue everything down to make our pockets. I'm going to get my glue board here. And I'm just going to use my Oohoo glue stick. But you can use whatever you want. So first we're going to glue the sides of this bottom here on the side, just on the side. Right on the sides here. And then a little bit on the top. About a 1/4 inch on each side on the top. And then we're going to fold it down. And glue that down. And that gives us our top pocket. And then we're just going to glue the bottom part of these two little flaps. Just put a little line of glue on the bottom there. Glue that down, making sure we match the bottom there. And this one the same way. And that's going to give us our bottom pocket. And just to make these more stable, I fold this strip in half. And put some glue on the inside. And then just fold it over the bottom. Right there, matching. Let me turn it this way. Matching that fold, and just fold it up. Glue it down on both sides, and then just trim it. And then that holds this pocket secure. So you have this pocket, you have this pocket. Now if you were going to glue it to a journal page, you could glue just the sides and the bottom, and you would have a third pocket up here. If you wanted to do it that way, that would be another option. Now you might want to go and do a little more inking just to cover these edges a little better. And then I'm going to glue this love one another down. Try to get it centered there. Okay. Now once your glue is pretty dry, you can just add your little hearts and your tags. And they will fit right in there. Oh, add it in the back, I guess. Why is this not fitting in there? Something's hitting it. There we go. That one inside fold was just not folded enough. All right, so there we have it. Our double pocket filled with 2 hearts, with scriptures, filled with 3 tags, with scriptures, and I think it makes a beautiful little pocket. Hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you were inspired. And if you want to get my kit, I have the link in the description box. Go get that on Etsy and make a bunch of these little pockets. Hand them out for Valentine's Day or any time. We should always love one another and love our neighbor as ourselves, as the Lord wants us to do. Appreciate you watching. I appreciate all my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting. I hope to see you again next week for another Scripture Pocket Sunday 2026. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.